I landed back on the first, and then I went to court on the second. And I went straight from on the second.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I got fire like in my veins, man. I can't chill. I got ants in my pants.
I love albums, and in 2024, I still think they're really important when they're used in their correct expression. We live in a time where singles are king, and the significance of streaming numbers and viral records take precedence in the music business. I think it's actually made it harder for musicians to grow into their own, but also to connect in a deep and meaningful way with their audience. So it's rare that albums feel like albums anymore. The craftsmanship's changed. It's almost like a curated playlist of singles. So when I listened to the last one, I was so relieved. Storytelling is so important, especially in rap. It's the source. So when albums are done in their rightful way, they're like snapshots into an artist's life at that very time. And we as fans get to catch up on their life through the track listing. Today, I'm joined by Headie One to talk about his brand new album, The Last One, and really get the bigger picture behind it. Powered by Cube, member studios and community for music and content creators. Congratulations on The Last One. I'm going to ask you in your own words to define it, but I thought for fun, before we define The Last One, I wanted to ask you to define Headie One in the past from some albums and some mixtapes. I'm not going to do them all. Don't worry, there's a lot. Cool. Just define who was Headie One when Headie One made Drillers and Trappers with RV in 2017.
2017, when I was making Drillers and Trappers, I was just like, probably just like a bit lost in terms of like what direction I was headed in. I didn't really know what direction I was headed in, and that's what made, I think, the music so like feel exactly the same, you know what I'm trying to say? And I was there like, it was just hectic. A lot of like things being done out of impulse. A lot of like, just like very hectic. That's the best way for me to describe it.
Headie One.
Literally.
Who was Headie One when The One came out?
As an individual, I was kind of like coming to learn like my own music quite a lot. So that's why I feel like you can kind of hear that in the music as well, that like I started to understand what I do.
Yeah.
But musically, but not like in personal life, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like that was more like the focus when I was making them kind of songs.
Well, The One was, I guess, your breakthrough, because Golden Boot, Know Better, like all of these. I remember that time from a fan's perspective of just being like, who the is this? Like, it was so catchy. It spread literally through the country so fast on the internet because of these records. And you were kind of catapulted into, I guess, the world of music from that.
Like, even without realising, because sometimes that's like, and I feel like that's like even what allowed it to catapult more. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I didn't realise how far the music was like stretching, because I had my head just wrapped so much in like what I was doing.
Yeah.
So like when I released The One, and it's like all the whole Know Better stuff and everything happened, like that was just what taught me like, right, like this is becoming like something like big kind of something that's building.
Who was Headie One when Music and Road came out?
I was like getting more into understanding like what was happening in the past, and also like my previous projects as well. I feel like I was starting to grow like within the music as well that I was doing, starting to like stretch to like other genres. Yeah. And like just explore a bit,
I mean, that had your first top 10 hit on it with Dave, 1800. I feel like that's the first time we properly met as well, when you came to radio. Because we went to the same college, but I feel like you said it to me, you were like, I think I was there for like 4 weeks.
I was there. I wasn't there for too long, a few months.
Crazy college though, because you were there for a bit. Fred was there for a bit. I was there the whole time. I was in the library, being the nerd that I was, having everyone come up to me, telling me like, you got to put my boy on SBTV, like all of this, like, because I used to blog for SBTV and MTV back then. Okay, who was Headie One when Edna came out?
I always knew like I wanted to make an album called Edna. Even when I was doing music on road, like it felt like the quality of music that I was making felt like it could have been an album, but I've known that, put my foot down. I said I don't want this to be like an album, because I know I can stretch a bit further like with my input into what I'm doing. Yeah. And I didn't feel like I was ready at that time. So that was like Edna. Edna was like my full like effort.
Yeah.
Like the first time I fully like put like my full energy into a piece of music.
I mean, it was number one in the country.
Mm.
Your first number one album, obviously.
Yeah.
And I mean, what an album to go number one, an album called Edna.
Yeah.
Like, incredible.
It was nice.
It was nice.
Yeah,
And I feel like Edna was when you really flexed just your collaborative network. Like, you were like, yeah, I've got Future. Like, you can't have Future. I can have Future. Yeah, I've got Drake. You can't have Drake. Yeah, I've got a record that's got over 100 million streams alone on Spotify with Stormzy and AJ Tracy. Do you know what I mean? It was such a massive, massive moment. But it's interesting to me as a fan because I feel like, albeit that was such a successful moment for you, I feel like your breakthrough, you know, with No Better and Golden Boot and this era of time, you've been at the same kind of level in people's heads.
Yeah.
I'd say since then, like you were just catapulted into the forefront of UK music, and you've been very fortunate through talent, 100%, but you've been very fortunate to remain there.
Yeah.
And when I was looking at the track list, it reminded me of a time where there are so many people, you feature with so many people, but there are so many people that aren't still maybe around competing at the same level just because of life and how things change and how people's interests dip. And you've managed to, I think through a lot of bravery, continue to evolve, continue to make all kinds of music, continue to keep people's ears interested, which is very difficult in 2024 for anyone, literally, unless you've got a viral hit. But you've managed to maneuver through all of these different eras of life and time for everyone. And I think a lot of it is to do with your bravery as well. I remember interviewing you and Fred again when Gang came out. And you said on my show, you were like, no Haribos for a week to all the people that were dissing it and being like, what is this kind of thing? And I guess sometimes it's hard for people to accept change because they like what they like, which I guess is pressure for artists. But I think through doing all of these things and expanding your sound, that has a massive part to play in why you're still at the top of the game.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I just like keep an open mind. Yeah. When I'm making music and that. I just like stay motivated. I don't really get carried away with like achievements and that. Yeah. I mean, like obviously, like you said, the last album done well, and like I was like trying to just already like move on to whatever's next because like I know like how it could have been, which like how it could have been so different to that. You know what I'm saying? So I need to just keep it pushing, man. And I get like I got fire like in my veins, man. Yeah. I can't show. I got ants in my pants. Seriously, like I don't like I know it can happen to anyone, but I'm just not hearing it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not having it. No way. I'm not having it.
I think that's a testament to you though. Yeah. Because a lot of people just accept it. Yeah. No. Or go and lick their wounds somewhere. Yeah, nah. And you're just like,
that's not me.
I'm just gonna release another one. Yeah. And another one. Speaking of which, Too Loyal for My Own Good. Yeah. I'm going to ask you to define Headie One in that time. I know it obviously wasn't an Edna or whatever, but I feel like it is still a defining moment for you.
Definitely. It was a defining moment for me because I feel like I was speaking to someone the other day and then like I was chatting about music, the industry. You know, everyone's always complaining about the music industry nowadays. Like, that's like the common theme. And
I feel like we've had a phone call complaining about the music industry.
Everyone's complaining. They was complaining to me, and I was just like things are always, it's like life though. Things are always good till things go too good. Yeah. Literally. So when I done like, it was all nice and fun when I was doing like getting the recognition in the beginning, and then like coming up doing like the songs that was going viral because we had nothing like it like for myself before, you know what I'm saying, as an individual. But like when you like you're working with like big labels and you're working with people that now have seen you like hit a certain level of like success. Now it's like they're there now. Like they're saying, like well, this is what we're doing now. You know
the elbows go out a bit.
Yeah, they're like, this is what we're doing now, and then this is what it's you know what I'm saying, and it just gets a bit weird. So I feel like that time there, like after the album, I was in a bit of a weird space in terms of like musically, But also that's why I feel like I got the motivation to create a project. Like, I made sure I done no features. I done it myself. I wanted to experiment more and like test myself.
Okay, so let's talk about defining who Headie One is to you in 2024 with the last one. Who is the Headie One that you're giving everybody with this?
I feel like I've gone up a level in the artistry.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. I feel like I'm doing a lot of different sounds. Like I've experimented on that people would have heard me experiment on before.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot more focus has gone into more sonically the sound of things, how things are being finalized are at probably the highest level that it's been. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the storytelling's gone up a level as well.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like it's just levels.
I feel like it's a massive mirror in a way, if that makes sense. I feel like there's a lot of reflection on your life. I feel like there's a lot of acknowledgement of a lot that's gone on in your life that you're sharing with people and how that's shaped you. And there's also a lot of, like I said earlier, like it's very healing. And what I found really interesting listening to it is I think that reflects a time that everybody's kind of going through, because music, especially albums in the past few years that have really resonated with people, they are all reflecting, they are all like healing. It feels a little bit therapeutic for a lot of people, because I think the general consensus of life right now is we are all kind of figuring shit out a little bit. We're literally all looking inwards and we're all trying to figure out how to move forward, and that goes for all walks of life. So I feel like it's going to be a really important listen for a lot of people. I think it's going to be very relatable, but I also think it's a nice time for you to tell your story in your own words. I think that kind of leads me to, I guess, track one with I Could Rap. I really loved the gospel choir and the fact that they kind of keep repeating the words, thank God I'm free. And I think freedom is such a massive constant in this album, and it's freedom in so many different forms. When was music a viable option for you? Like, do you remember that lightning bulb moment? Was it in a studio with your friends in a warehouse somewhere, or was it something someone said where there was a time where you're like, I actually really want to do this?
I don't really think I ever had that moment anymore. Like,
you never had it?
No, not like not a moment that I can single out. It was just more like,
you're just gonna follow it.
Yeah,
and see
just
where
more
it goes.
like in the VR. It's more like just following it. Like people like, I'll do a freestyle, people like it, and I'll do another one. I'll do a song, people like it, and I'll do another one.
Yeah.
I'll just do another one and another one. But like, what forced me to like say, okay, I need to do this is like when I'm at risk of losing.
Yeah.
At risk of losing that, with the way things are going. You know what I'm trying to say? I need to be like, I got lucky. Then I'll continue on, like sometimes stupidly, but then it's like just more like realization over time. Like that's what was forcing me to grow up.
Yeah.
And then in due time, we just reached, didn't it?
Well, let's talk about growing up. Something that you talk about on the album that made me laugh was missing your school disco because you got shipped back to Ghana.
Yeah.
I think you must have been 10.
I was in year 5, so like I have like an older sister, and with her 2 siblings, and then my older sister, she was like, the neighborhood that we grew up in, it's like I feel like everyone in that neighborhood like was just a bit troubled.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, everyone had their troubles, like getting in like basically like what you would call like a naughty kid, innit? Everyone had like was raised well, but was still naughty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was like me. Like obviously I was raised by like my single father, and then like, I was just like a bit naughty. Like I never had a good parents' union.
Ever? Not one?
I never had a. He done
What were
well
some
this
of the
month.
things? Like
Just
from young?
Just everything. He's talking, he's play fighting, he's got too much energy, he's running around the school. Like, I never ever went to school and they said to me, he's been doing good.
Right.
And borderline my sister as well. So by the time I reached like year 5 and she was in year 10, it wasn't really looking great for the future. You know what I'm saying? So my dad just said, you know what? I need to take action.
And go back.
Literally, so I tried to pattern it. And yeah, I think that just, it was really a lost cause back then, even though I was so young, yeah.
What are some of the differences of your childhood?
I see, at home, like my grandma's like not really strict, you know what I'm saying? She's good people, like it's cool.
Yeah.
But when I was going to school, like it was strict.
Yeah.
So I was there for like 18 months, and that was like character building.
Okay.
So I had like a stronger, like, I still had the same mentality as when before I went there,
Okay.
but a stronger, it's been strengthened.
Well, because you got beat, so
Yeah,
you're like, I hate the world.
Yeah, like literally, it's just mad. So I'm all ready now, like, because obviously I was taken away from all my friends.
Yeah.
So like, I was like, I was good, like, I've always been a person that could be alone, you know what I'm saying? I don't really mind being alone, like, or having time to myself and that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so by the time I come back to school and I was going into year 8 and year 7, like, it was just, it wasn't very long until it was just a bit shaky.
Okay. Coming back, I guess, to North London, Broadwater Farm, that whole area.
Yeah.
At that time, what was the community like? Like, obviously, you said earlier, like, I think everyone that grew up around there is a little bit troubled, but just describe it. Because I think people are really fascinated, right, by, especially with, I guess, the history of Broadwater Farm. But just as a space, as a kid growing up in North London, what was it like?
It's like, there's loads of good memories, and I feel like one thing that growing up in North London and Broadwater Farm in particular is like there's a very like much, especially when you're kids. There's like a very community kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Like everyone's familiar with each other. Everyone's parents knows each other.
Yeah.
Everyone's like kind of locked in, if you know what I'm trying to say. No matter what kind of culture you're from, it's like a feeling of togetherness. But also within that feeling of togetherness, there's a lot of other feelings, you know what I'm trying to say, in terms of like, yeah, like obviously like broken homes and that, and like the environment. It's like not the greatest environment, like police issues and all the boring stuff like youth clubs and
standard, right?
Yeah.
But I like what you say about community, because I think that is something that is also a standard for people in environments like that. I think that there really is that strength of community where people do band together and they do kind of stick together regardless of race, gender, anything. Everyone's going through the same shit.
Literally.
And so there is that sense of community. And I think that's very reflected in the fact that I think OFB might be the biggest collective maybe in the world, not even the UK. Like, I can't, and that's bad of me because I know like the majority, but I swear to you, I can't actually remember how many rappers are coming out of OFB. Like, it's just so many.
Because everyone can rap and everyone's good at rapping. So it's like, when we was going to the studio like, in the earlier days, we would have like do songs and have that you'll see from even then. If you go back and look at like the old school ones that we just upload on random YouTubes, there'll be like 5.
You're lanky in them as well. It's crazy.
Tall, like skinny, and there's like 5 different guys on this song, and then you look at another song and there's 5 different guys. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's just good at rapping.
When you speak about going to the studio, though, you say it so casually, but walk me through this process of, I guess, you guys, were you just hanging out and someone was like, oh, I know someone at a studio, let's go, like? Yeah,
like we had like little studios that was popular like in Tottenham, like. Yeah. We had the one in like Tottenham Hell, like, there used to be one like behind, next to Tottenham Swan, like, and it'll just be like people that's just like trying a little thing, like they're getting a studio space. It won't be the best quality. Yeah. And we'll just go. Them days, everyone's chipping in like their little money and that, and like putting together like £40 or whatnot, and we'll do like a couple of hours in there. Sick. And everyone will just like get on the song. Yeah.
Being a kid, was there much to do like in the area?
Like when I was a proper kid, they used to have a few things like that the community used to do like during the summer and that. But that's like my distant memory. Like that all like kind of like stopped happening kind of quickly. But the way the estate is like laid out anyway is almost like a concrete playground. So there's loads of nothing to do. Okay. If you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It's almost like the perfect environment for nothing to happen.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say?
That's a really interesting thing to say. Yeah. For loads of nothing to happen. Yeah. But so much has happened. Yeah. From nothing.
Literally.
Nothing into something.
Oh yeah, blue dot, red dot.
Blue dot, red dot.
And the French vanilla.
French vanilla, you love French vanilla. I don't know if they still even make that anymore. Oh, they don't. Yeah, they do, yeah. Have we evolved since then? Yeah. I could not get down with that vanilla.
I think it's lockdown that done it to me, you know.
What, the vodka?
You know, during like made me like kind of sorry.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
sorry.
Just drink it
Yeah,
straight.
it made me stop drinking the vodka a bit, because vodka's like kind of like a turning up kind of drink.
Yeah.
So when we're just at home, like, you couldn't just be drinking vodka. It'd be
I
even
got
mad.
really into wine.
During lockdown.
Yeah. I got really into wine in lockdown. There was this app that my friend showed me. It's basically Deliveroo, but for wine.
Yeah, no way.
I was like, do you know what? There's nothing to do. People are out here learning languages. They're out here doing yoga. They're out here doing all this stuff. I'm going to learn about wine, right? By tasting it. So I would just order wine. I got really into it.
No way.
And then I got really off of it really quickly.
Yeah, wine gives me like a mad hangover now.
No, I know. Where did I see you? GQ.
Yeah, no.
At the GQ party, you were on the wines.
Yes,
I
really.
left for like 10 minutes. You were like, where are you? I was surprised you were still there. I've come back. He's still, was it rosé
I was drinking
or white wine?
White wine.
Because I was like, you're going to hate yourself
Yeah,
tomorrow.
the next morning I was done.
Yeah.
I was just, white wine gives you a bad hangover, so.
It's not great, especially we're getting on to we're closer to 30 now. I have 3-day hangovers.
No way.
Yeah, so I don't really drink anymore. Like, it's horrible.
You think that's what happens with, like, do you think that's a thing that happens with age? Like, it just hits you a bit harder?
Yeah.
I've been feeling it like, recently.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
It's bad.
I've been feeling it, man.
No, it's like, I genuinely don't. It takes a lot for me to get drunk now because I know the repercussions of my actions. Like, whereas before I was like, hey, we bar, fuck it, like, let's go. Shots constantly. I could do like probably a bottle of tequila and be fine. Like, and that used to be a flex. I think that's the dumbest shit ever now. I'm like, who the fuck wants to do that to themselves?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Me and H, when we were shooting the Tootsie video.
Yeah.
We went to Spain just for like 2 days, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we like just had like a mad weekend, like was drinking tequila, vodka. We went back to the Blue Dot.
Oh God.
What's the big one again? We had like the Magnum bottle
Of Ciroc.
of Belvedere.
Oh,
We're done on that.
Belvedere!
And then-
Jesus Christ!
And me and H were saying, "Oh, we're gonna do like a vodka night."
does
Because it was going crazy. It was
Who
going
has a
mad.
vodka night?
We did vodka nights. This guy.
You thought you were 21 again.
Literally, but
Jesus Christ.
You see, like when I got back here, I was out for like 4 days. I couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, but what happens to me now? Firstly, saying you and H going, we're going to have a vodka night is fucking hilarious, right? We're going to have a vodka night. Okay, that's wild. My hangovers now go, I don't even drink that much anymore, which is what pisses me off. It's like, I used to go for it.
That thing that everyone takes, like, because when I went out in Germany with like some of the German artists, they was giving it to us, like, aspirin that helps with hangovers. No, is it aspirin?
Aspirin, Advil,
Is it aspirin? Like, it's like a tablet you take and it's meant to like help you with hangovers. Yeah.
like a painkiller.
Yeah, kind of painkiller kind
I
of
was really
thing.
worried then. I was like, what are you about, like what are you going to say? Like,
that was too crazy.
I don't know about that. Anyway, yeah, no, fuck being old, honestly. We can't drink, you definitely, you can't drink wine.
But I don't, like, I can't drink white wine, that's too much. But I don't feel like I'm old, I feel like I'm a baby. I mean, that's just, like, I don't feel like old at all.
I feel old when I have a hangover for 4 days and I'm just on my sofa. Can't move, had to cancel all my meetings. It's like I genuinely, it's like I want to go back into the womb. I'm just like, I'm done here. Like, just send me back. Like, I can't. But no, I think that's nice. And I'm trying to stay on that side of being like, we're not too old. But there is just something in me that's like, this is it. It's 30.
Nah, man. I think that's, because I just see it as in, like, cool. Like, I was even chatting to someone like from the team about this the other day. Like, I feel like a lot of, in nearly all fields in life or whatnot,
Yeah.
like people like that are coming into their prime in like their mid-40s, like 45, 44, that's 14 years away.
Yeah, but do you remember when we were like 18 and it was like, oh my God, 30, old. And now we're those people.
So you don't feel like the time has felt long from 18 to now? Like,
hell no.
you don't think so?
No way.
I feel like it's felt long, man.
Do you? I think, do you know what? You're right. When I look back, it is long, but it does feel like the more life happens, like, oh my God, was COVID like a time warp or what? Like, I genuinely don't understand how 3 years happened. Like, we got to 2023 and I was like, hold on a minute.
Because I actually like don't have much memories from COVID.
I have a memory of you from COVID.
When...
I have a memory of you from COVID.
Yeah, but that's what I'm going to say. It's like, you can actually pick them out. Whereas like when we're speaking about Paris
true.
and that,
Yeah.
I'm getting it all muddled up.
Yeah, I'm there like this party that we went to, and you're like, it's all a blur.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, no, COVID was I challenged you and I challenged Maya and a couple of my other friends to partake in dry January with me. And this was January 2020, right? Little did I know that we were about to get locked down, you more than most of us, right? In 2020, where we were basically living the same shit. But
literally.
we literally went into a lockdown. So I asked everybody to not drink in the only month we could go out and drink.
Yeah.
You didn't do it. I know you didn't. Neither did Maya. But then I get this text message, right, on my phone. And it's you. And I don't know I don't know what this number is. You just text me like, I win by default. Dry January. And I was like, why? And I've realised it's because you've gone inside. And I was like, oh my, that's cheating. Like, that's not fair. Like, obviously you can't drink. But that was really funny.
Yeah, it's funny though.
You're just like, lol, dry January, I win by default.
I didn't drink for like 3 months.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I made sure to catch up when I came out though. I was going ham.
A lot happened, to be fair, in that time. Like, I feel like that was also... We're going to get into this as we keep going through the album. But, for example, you have references in this album where you talk about Little Mix, Bridgerton, The Big Bang Theory, like all of these different references. I'm like, Headie in real life ain't watching Bridgerton, like any of these things. No way. But you're so clued up on pop culture. And I remember we had a group where we had a group where we'd literally review Love Island. Do you remember? He'd be watching Love Island. I'd be watching it, like, just killing time. And you'd check in and be like, I can't believe that they did that. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. Like, hilarious. And another thing, just on the subject of jail, as we're there and talking about prison, why do, and this is, I'm not talking about Headie in this, I don't know if Headie had a phone in there, but I have other friends who definitely had better iPhones than me in prison, because there was one person I specifically asked for a freestyle, and I wanted that Dipset like through the phone, like, you know, essence for an interlude. My God, was it the crispiest voice note I've ever received in my life? I was just like, I'm actually going to have to backwards engineer this to make it sound...
a bit more rough,
Yeah, and rugged. Like, this is crisp. Like, this could be a record.
Even like because the voice memos now, that's how I feel like a lot of artists are releasing from those situations as well, like full mix and mastered.
I know, it's crazy. A lot of my listenership, when I had the rap show, and still now, like a lot of my listenership does come from jail. And I remember I was doing this festival in Bristol, and this guy's basically jumped the fence, and he's just been like, Tiffany, he's like banging on his chest, being like, you saved my life. And I was like, oh, okay. He was like, I listen to you every week in jail.
Saturday night,
Saturday night, 9 to 11. And
because Charlie Slough used to do that one years ago, right?
Yeah, so I replaced Charlie.
Yeah, so years ago, like obviously when I was in more negative situations, I remember I'm hearing Charlie stuff, and he used to define the booths on that night, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So obviously, more recently when I had to do the dry January, like that's when I was like,
cheers to that, by the way.
Come on.
Yeah.
And that's when I was listening to obviously you on the Saturday night. I remember you done a show when you had Drake coming like as a guest, and he was speaking about like Band OK, said he likes Once in a While.
Yeah.
And that was sick, man. I was actually like sitting and just listening to it.
Do you not think that's such a weird full circle? Because I don't even know that.
Yeah.
That's such a full circle moment for your link up on Edna with Only You Freestyle. Like, I didn't know that you listened to him on my show in jail when he's talking about Once in a While to now having a record with him on your album. That could have been called Tiffa Free. I just need everybody to know the story. I actually found this the other day. Let me see if I can actually play this. I also wanted to play the voice note of Drake pissing himself when we were talking about it. So basically, for those of you that don't know, Headie has an absolute banger with Drake called Only You Freestyle, which at the time, I think we were just all trying to figure out the right
name, yeah.
name for it. So Drake had texted me and been like, I think we should call it Tiffany Rhythm or like Tiffany Calver Rhythm or something. And then I've been like, sick.
Yeah.
Do you know, I'm like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then we've carried on talking about it, and I was like, it's just such a big moment. Like, I don't think it should be that. And then you got really creative. And then you started sending all of your different options. One of them being, here we go. Tiffany. Here we go. Why are you laughing already?
I can already hear what kind of mode I was in. I was in the next mode.
Yo, Tiffany, what do you think of TTT?
Right. TTT. I've got another one of you going 1 Tiff 6, Tiffa free. And I'm just that, like, Drake is, honestly, I have the funniest voice note of him being like, Tiffa free. Like, oh my God. Because it's such a big moment.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't let you do that. Like, just to fit my name in, I was like, just call it Only You Freestyle. Just
Like, even till now, I slightly think Tiffa Free would have.
Tiffa Free was not.
done the
sorry,
job, man.
the biggest, like, you have to understand the importance of that record. And also you have to rate me for not being selfish enough to let you ruin that moment by calling it Tiffa Free. Like, it's sick, and we can definitely have a song one day called Tiffa Free.
Yeah.
But the moment was so important because obviously we all know he was like a fan of like what was going on, and he was a fan of all of these artists coming out. But when I spoke to him, and obviously I like, we did a FaceTime with him, right, and all of this stuff. When we spoke, it was just about how, you know, to the world, like, I feel like you are at the forefront of drill. And he was such a big fan of drill at the time in the UK. He was just like, who should I do a song with? Like, what should I do? Da da da. And it just had to be you. Do you know what I mean? Like, we spoke about other artists and other things, and, you know, he collabs with people all the time. But that moment was so significant because he'd obviously released records before he was on drill or whatever, and it was just like, if you're gonna do this, I think do it the right way, be a feature with one of the like most prolific drill artists in the UK, and show love, like pay homage. And I couldn't let you call that Tiffa Free, man. Like, it's just like, that's a big moment. Do you know what I mean?
No, of course.
But that was really funny, and I guess that started in 2020 as well. A lot happened in 2020.
2020 was a busy year. It didn't start off fun for me. I started the year in Dubai, and ended it in Dubai. Did I end the year in Dubai that year? Yeah.
Wait, was it Dubai you were in?
I landed back on the 1st, and then I went to court on the 2nd, and I went straight from on the 2nd.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Fucking hell. Oh my God, I did not know that.
And I think, like, I don't know, obviously I came out on the helicopter or whatnot.
Did you just organise a helicopter? Because I know there's like always these things when, you know, like when people get out and there's like cars or like watches or champagne, where you like, fuck all of that, I want a helicopter.
See what I was actually thinking? I was kind of far in it. I was in Wolverhampton.
That's right, that's my ends.
Yeah, so I didn't want to, I knew the drive back here was like 3 hours.
Yes, long.
So I remember saying, okay, like, I want to get a nice car and whatnot to pick me up, whatnot. But I just thought the drive is long. I don't really want to drive, so let's just, how can I get to London quickest? So the helicopter, and plus, like, obviously it's a vibe as well. So
that's a big flex.
yeah.
I'm home. Do you know what I mean?
30 minutes. I was in London in 30 minutes.
What rock star life, like, low key? It's just like you've literally just been inside, and then you're kind of like welcome home to like real life again. You're like, just remember who the fuck I am, okay? I'm Headie motherfucking One. I'm getting a helicopter. I ain't driving. I'm getting a helicopter from Wolverhampton. It's not that far, by the way. It's like 2.5 hours.
2:40. Yeah. 2:40 is a good day.
That's ridiculous. I've always wanted to know what it is about the magic between. I feel like radio is like the cool, still like king when it comes to prison. Just the importance of playing a record or listening to radio, that ritual that seems to have kind of been lost, like, to everybody else. I feel like, what is it? Tell me about the rap show. Tell me how great I am. No, I'm joking. But like, tell me what it is about radio. Like, is it a thing like everybody knows on a Saturday we're doing this, or how does it actually go down? Because I've never known.
This is actually how it went down. Obviously, it depends on your scenario. Like,
yeah,
if there's some people are like, They've got like phones, maybe.
Maybe.
They got the latest
Who
iPhones,
knows?
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they've got loads of other stuff to look at other than radio, but it's like, I feel like there's a wrong perception of like prison put out there a lot because of the things that come on social media. But when we say the prison population is, I don't even know accurately, but not, I feel like 80% of the prison population ain't living like what you see on Instagram.
Right.
Like they're alone, they don't have anything, they don't really have money,
Yeah.
they don't really have food.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't really have like visits.
Yeah.
I say they don't have co-defendants like that from like
Yeah.
that they've caught a case with that are there like to chill with and have friends. Like they're really just like alone. You know what I'm saying? So when it's like they're in a situation where like they're in their cell and they might like music, you know what I'm saying? But remember, say radio's like during the daytime you could have like pop music on all day. You know what I'm saying? Or you could have like
Little Mix. You reference Little
classic,
Mix.
yeah.
On
You could
me.
have classic radio. Like remember, say radio's like you don't really have the choice of like when you have Spotify to like listen to what you want to listen to all day. So in a situation where someone's got an iPhone and then they're just listening to all the latest songs,
Yeah.
or someone could have like a USB stick and they got all their latest songs on there.
Oh, a USB
Yeah.
stick.
You really got young teenagers on there that on a Saturday night, there's nothing on TV and they just got the radio.
Fair.
So they're listening, that they're waiting for 9 o'clock to listen to the latest rap songs, the latest artists. Like, just have like an hour of like freedom.
Yeah. Speaking of the other side of the people that don't have this accessibility, what is it actually? What does £1.80 for 6 weeks actually get you? Like, what is that like?
It's tight, man.
What does that get you though?
Nothing. You know, you have to get like obviously like, the reason why when I'm saying like these kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, 'cause I've been like you say, some people like them. That's what I mean when I'm rapping, I'm telling these stories. I like to like obviously I've had situations and them kind of scenarios when it's been fun for me. I had like my smartphone and kind of say and doing that kind of stuff. But I've had the other side of things. I've got taken to Durham and Scotland and like, and then they're not transferring my spends over. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm in Scotland with no money.
Yeah.
Like on my books and that. And like, but then up there, it's a bit shaky with like the racism and that as well, especially in them kind of scenarios. And like, so you're getting the £1.80. You're getting the £1.80. Like, was it £3? Like, I think when you break it down, it's like £1.80 or something a day or something, yeah, or like something so silly like or a week or something.
Yeah.
And you're buying the 30p. I was buying the 30p noodles to like just so that I could like maintain out of the 180, and they don't sell no products for black people here on a thing.
Yeah.
So like I had no, and they won't let me take my Afro comb in on the wing because they're saying it's a weapon.
Oh my god.
Like, and then like it's just got dark, man. It was up there, just no cream, nothing, just ganging it off.
Oh my gosh.
Out there. So I've had that.
Yeah.
And I've had like, I'm an older man them and that. So
Yeah.
I like to tell the kids like, yo, people make it look sexy and that.
But it's not.
But trust me, it can get dark.
I don't feel like you glorify it though. Or I don't actually feel like anybody. Obviously, it's a part of your life, so you talk about it. But I've never listened to one of your songs and been like, "Yay, prison!" Do you know what I mean? Ever. Like you literally, even in this album, it's like 11 gels, 11 free flows, like all of this stuff, and even just hearing about the after effects that has on you. Like I never feel like anybody actually glorifies it. I think people that think people are glorifying it are really silly. It's like, I get it. You have to live it to understand just how bad of a situation it is.
Obviously, like, we have loads of rappers and whatnot, but I feel like anyone that like you get the like that, it might come across sometimes that as glorifying or whatnot because we're speaking about things like so like prolifically or whatnot. But that's why like, I always try to like put like make intent to put a separate message aside like this is the outcome. Because I feel like it's not exciting, like these stuff. Not to me anyway, because like a lot of harsh reality, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to give like that wrong kind of like message to the kids and that.
Yeah.
That like, oh, like this is like fun, like come join in. Like, no, I want them to know, and then obviously based on your own like observations, then you do you want. That's my job done.
Yeah. there's a part in your record, I Still Know Better, where you talk about, I guess, living that double life where you're still kind of on the fence of these two things. And you talk about bagging up sand and then going and doing a show where fans are screaming Mo Salah. You also created
Yeah.
like, did you think that would actually become a part of literally rap vocabulary when you did it?
Not really, but I stole it though.
Did you?
Yeah, I took it. I took it from. So I went to the Link Up TV freestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, years ago. And I was with like RV. It was put together by Link Up TV, and I was with RV. Like a couple of the guys, like they used to do these ciphers.
Yeah.
Like a joint street heat, and then this is like when Zone 2 was like coming up and whatnot, like doing the early freestyles, and wasn't really familiar with him at the time, but Quengface was on the freestyle,
Yeah.
on the lineup, and then he comes like in front of the camera, and he's doing this like and I was thinking, yo, that's hard, like
Yeah.
that's making sense. So I said, yeah, anytime like when I need to just not say something,
Just say shh.
and then that was the perfect time not to say something.
Well, shout out Quengface. And then you carried that message on. And now most people are protected from not telling their full truth, especially in this world, which we'll get into, where lyrics get used all the time in court. Do you remember when I sat with you actually and I'd been making my documentary?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I had no idea it's this bad. Like, no clue. And obviously this is something you talk about a little bit later in the project, just reflecting on, I guess, just the fact that your music and a lot of drill music does get painted out as being the reason for all of these issues going on in society and how it always gets the blame. And I just didn't realise how deep it got with, I guess, just the censoring of releasing music until I made that documentary. You obviously say it's entertainment until people start dying on Still Know Better. Well, the actual quote is, North London hasn't ever been the same again, and everybody thinks it's entertainment till people start dying. Then they tell me I'm glorifying violence. How can we cure this? Because it's too late for the prevention, too late for all the police intervention, everybody seeking vengeance.
Obviously, when you get into the prison system, the whole aim of going into the prison system is supposed, or in their words, and it's supposed to be to rehabilitate, obviously alongside with the punishment, whatnot. But obviously, I was in a special situation where I was released from the system, and I was recalled back after a few weeks, and then I was meant to be speaking to the parties who was supposed to be helping with my rehabilitation, and I couldn't even get my phone call answered. So like literally like till today, like that's something like I'm actually considering taking legal action on, because I would be phoning my probation who were meant to be dealing with rehabilitation. They'll be ignoring me, and I've done like a whole extra year, like without an answer to a phone call or nothing, or an update on like my situation. Yeah, and I'm meant to be a young man that's supposed to be getting rehabilitated.
Yeah.
I went in when I was 19, and at this point I was in my early 20s, 22. Yeah. So when I came out of that, the thing that whatever happened that was caused me to get recalled, like, in the end, ended up getting like dismissed and everything. So it was all void. Like I basically ended up being there for no reason and everything, and there's nothing I could do about it.
Yeah.
But it was fine. I didn't cry about it. I started doing music.
Yeah.
So I'm doing music, and now the music's going good. So this is me rehabilitating myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like without any help from anyone, like
Powers that be.
any whoever's out there, whatever systems they got. I'm rehabilitating myself. I'm getting little shows now. I'm doing whatever I'm doing based on like just speaking about the things that are ongoing.
Yeah.
And then so it felt like when like things start to go well, and like you're getting these things put in place, like you can't do this show, or we're shutting down this show. It's like, is the aim really to rehabilitate, or is the aim to like push you to reoffend? Because that's literally how I was feeling like when I was getting shows shut down, and I was getting like being told like, I can't do this, I can't do that, and you got to double check for this and double check for this, and it's like I done a whole extra year of my life on license recall, and I couldn't get on my phone answered, and now you're telling me about like my shows, like, so it's very counterproductive, and that's what I speak about on the song as well.
In, I think it was 2021 or something, in Leeds, you're literally going to your show and you get stopped by literal armed officers, right? Like, I can't imagine what that feels like.
Yeah, it's like, it's frustrating, but obviously I'm not really the type to like make a big deal out of it and try to start a whole like
Yeah, of course.
what do they call it? Like everyone holding a site of protest and like that. That's not really my kind of thing, but I think like the story needs to be told like that. Like, remember, say, if we're not really being given much opportunities to rehabilitate ourselves, we'll just be doing the same thing that we're doing, that you suspect us of doing anyway, just without the music.
Yeah.
So you might as well just like allow the people to attempt to rehabilitate themselves, because it's the same thing anyway. You're not really adding a solution to the situation. So that's why I feel like it's a bit like it's just crazy. It's like it's a bit cheeky and crazy from them, but it just that's what taught me that it's like, I think it's like a play to just like make it tougher.
Yeah.
People.
I didn't realise how hard it was for me to play a song on radio until I did my documentary Drill on Trial, and I found out about the fact that police are actually allowed to remove music. I did not know that was a thing. I didn't know you could use lyrics in court. Like, you know, that's such a big thing. Look at Young Thug and that whole case in the States as well. Like, the censorship of rap music is insane. And I do think there is a bit of a racist tone to it. Like, I don't think you can deny that, because, you know, there's always been these arguments of like, oh, well, there's punk music and there's heavy metal and there's, you know, these records are violent, or they're talking about certain things in life, but they don't get penalised the same way. And then when I did the documentary, I found out about the gangs violence matrix, and the facts are there. You know, their own statistics, it's like 80% of people on the gangs violence matrix are black, and it's like, well, why is that? And they say they try and reduce it and they try and do these things. Nothing really changes. Like, it's,
I think where the inconsistency is that, like, if, like, for example, they're taking on people's art because of, like, the story that they're telling, that every form of art tells a story. A story is a story, and art is art, whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah.
So I feel like to target the censorship just at, like, people that are coming from, like, a disadvantaged background, you know what I'm saying, and trying to use this art based on their situation and the truth that's happening to change, like, the narrative. It's like, why isn't that happening in a full circle? Like you were saying before, like, you have punk music. Some music are influenced. Some types of music are influencing people to take drugs, which can lead to depression. Some forms of music are influencing people to be suicidal. That's where you can, like, see the clear inconsistency, and where, like, a group of people are being targeted.
Yeah. You asked the question as well, like, how do we, I think, is it cure this? And that's actually something that I proposed to a couple people, I guess, in the justice system when I was filming. It was really interesting because that was the one thing nobody had an answer to.
Like, just let people express themselves. Like it doesn't really do any harm. Like, how much harm does it do to society if a guy that is coming from a negative background and dealing with these situations in real life wants to speak about it? Like, is he just only telling the truth?
He's also telling the truth for a lot of people.
Literally.
It's relatable.
My actual personal opinion on it, is like, I think the world is moving into a space where, like, a lot of people are, like, gravitating away from, like, education and, like, going into being like when I speak to my nephew now, he speaks about what he wants to do, like, education wise, but people want to be like YouTubers, and people want to be like you said, digital stuff. Like, it's less like it's more unorthodox kind of things that people are, like, wanting to do, and I feel like this is unbalancing, like, everything, even, like, the stuff that they think about, like, in terms of, like, classes and different kind of stuff. It's unbalancing things, because it's like, now, like we was just speaking about, we can we're paying different kinds of tax on that now.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's not really making sense to them that you got all of these like group of black guys that are coming from like council estates that are in like reaching like the most highest tax bracket.
1%.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's not balancing out the system properly. That people actually have to fail
Yeah.
for things to run properly. And I think it's more about that. Like the risk assessment that they do is so extreme.
Okay.
It just makes everyone feel like
Pointless.
have this extra worry on the show, and it's like, and then once there's so much worry on it, it's almost like
Yeah.
everyone just starts pulling out of it. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's focus on a positive
Yeah.
now. Another thing, so you're about to leave here, you're about to go to Paris, somewhere I actually feel like I see you more than I see you in London.
Yeah.
Still on this travel thing. I love this one line where you talk about being sat front row with Pharrell,
Yeah.
because that's literally... Between you and K-Trap, funnily, who you just mentioned, I was saying to you earlier, I don't know who shops more.
Yeah.
Like, you really do love your fashion, and I always see you at Fashion Week. And I think a big part of that for me is remembering Virgil, because I feel like he played such a fundamental role in kind of opening the door for a lot of us to even be invited to these places. And, you know, I think you guys had a really special relationship where he designed the set for the Brit Awards, which is iconic. And sadly, you know, really sadly, that's the same year he passed away. Like, but he was so involved and so passionate about kind of bringing us in. It was quite...
Yeah, no, it's like, obviously, like, because I've come from, like, what's it called? Like, I've seen, like, both kind of sides of, like, like, as a fan of, like, this kind of stuff, and also, like, being, like, on, like, being able to mingle with certain people. I respect people that, like Virgil, for example, and, like, even though he's not part of the fans, and Drake a lot, to be honest, because, like, when I feel like people are in, like, particular positions where, like, because people can, there's a lot of times you can appreciate things in, like, silence, or, like, because you've reached, like, a certain level, like, you don't feel like you need to be, like, taken in or rubbing shoulders with, like, people, like, of a certain stature because you're, like, all the way over here.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I always respected about Virgil. Like, he's, like, got so much things going on. Like, you can imagine that he's doing Louis Vuitton and, like, I don't know.
Off-White as well.
There's so much different things that I can only imagine
DJing in
what he's doing.
Ibiza. Yeah.
And then, like, one time I messaged, and this is crazy, like, I messaged Virgil, I was in Paris, and I messaged Virgil, I was like, yo, I'm in Paris, that, were you on, that kind of thing? And he told me he's in Brixton.
Yeah.
And he's DJing in some back road in Brixton.
Yeah. I remember
And
Brixton Jam or something.
Yeah.
Or Electric Brixton.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, these are, like, things that people don't do, but it's like, I'm going to say, like, he's taking in people that he don't really have to take in.
Yeah.
And he's, like, he's just being off, man.
Yeah.
He's just, like, and that takes a lot of, that's harder work than a lot of people think. It probably drains, like, a lot of people's energy, so I have a lot of respect for him still, definitely.
I never understood how he had the capacity to reply. Like, I was just like, how are you able to reply? He replies quicker than most people.
Yeah.
And he'd always make time. He was a champion of mine as well with the show and, like, with DJing. And I do really hate the fact that I think post him passing away, it does kind of feel like the door is closing again.
Yeah.
A little bit, like it doesn't feel as accessible or open as he made it for the whole community, and especially people like us. And I do slowly feel like the door is, they're kind of going back to kind of having their back up a little bit. And I just wish everybody remembered his mentality and how he was all about kind of bringing in everybody and making it a space for everyone.
Definitely, man, he's a legend.
I think that's kind of it, really, to talk about. We obviously have been sat here forever. We've drank like 3 glasses of Hennessy.
I'm having a good time.
No, you having a good... Should we keep going then, everyone? You want to keep going? Ain't It Different is one of your highest streaming singles with 172,350,594 streams on Spotify alone.
Yeah.
Closely followed by Only You Freestyle, You're Welcome, which has 165,197,659 streams, again, on Spotify alone. What the... you talk about success and, you know, when you're on I'm Thankful, all of these different things that have happened in your life. You are literally one of the highest streaming artists. You're at the top of your game. Did you even imagine this? When it was all starting, right? Like Golden Boot, No Better Days. Did this even seem like it would get to that level?
It wasn't even in the MySpace, really. There's always the aspiration for more. But within like the right mind frame though, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And still like be appreciative at the same time. But at the same time, like just keep building, man.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on the new album. I'm sure I'll be seeing you again very, very soon.
Definitely, man. No,
yeah.
Turning up.
Yeah, 100%. Well, cheers. Congratulations.
Cheers. Ching.